Have you ever spent nights overthinking everything, replaying conversations in your head, dissecting every word, every gesture, wondering if you said the right thing, if you did enough? Do you constantly worry about outcomes you can't possibly control, about the future, about what others might think? This relentless mental chatter, this constant striving and grasping, can be utterly exhausting. We care so much about how we're perceived. Do they like me? Am I smart enough? Am I successful enough? We care deeply about whether we're financially secure, whether we're truly loved, whether we're meeting all the expectations placed upon us, and often the expectations we place upon ourselves. And yet, somehow, the more we care in this anxious, controlling way, the more anxious, stressed, and profoundly unbalanced we feel. It's a paradox that traps so many of us in a cycle of dissatisfaction. There's a strange and profound truth that many people only truly discover after years, sometimes decades of struggle, of pushing against the current, of trying to force life into a specific mold. It's this: when you stop holding on so tightly, when you loosen your grip on life, on people, on outcomes, life actually begins to move. It starts to flow. When you stop obsessing over how things should be, when you release your fixed ideas of perfection, they often unfold exactly as they're meant to, often in ways more beautiful and unexpected than you could have ever planned. And crucially, when you stop caring in the way the world has taught you to care, that relentless, fear-driven, outcome-dependent kind of caring, everything truly begins to fall into place. Now, let's be absolutely clear from the outset. This is not about giving up on your dreams, on your responsibilities, or on the people you love. It's not about becoming cold, indifferent, or apathetic. It's not about turning your back on the world or retreating from life's challenges. Quite the opposite. It's about understanding a deeper, more profound wisdom behind the act of letting go. It's about cultivating a kind of caring that comes without attachment, a boundless love that doesn't demand possession or control. It's about a presence that doesn't desperately cling to specific results. Today, we're going to embark on a journey to explore this deeper truth through the ancient yet incredibly relevant lens of Buddhist wisdom. We will delve into why radical detachment from outcomes often brings about the deepest sense of peace and freedom. We'll examine what truly happens within us and around us when we stop relentlessly chasing after desires and start allowing life to unfold. And most importantly, we will explore practical ways to live a life that flows gracefully, a life that feels effortless and aligned, instead of one we constantly feel we have to force, manipulate, and struggle against. If you're tired of feeling weighed down by the burdens of expectation, anxiety, and the need for control, if you're ready to experience a new kind of freedom that isn't dependent on external circumstances, if you're seeking a path to genuine inner peace and resilience, then please stay with me. Because what you'll hear today might just shift the way you see everything: your struggles, your relationships, your goals, and ultimately, your own potential for happiness. Welcome to Light of Wisdom. Let's begin. We are all fundamentally wired to seek happiness. It is a universal longing, a driving force behind almost everything we do. And yet, ironically, so much of our profound unhappiness, so much of the suffering we experience in our daily lives, comes precisely from how tightly we hold on to what we think happiness should look like. Think about it. We crave love, a specific kind of love from a specific person, delivered in a specific way. We crave recognition for our efforts, our intelligence, our achievements. We crave control over our circumstances, our finances, our health, even the behavior of others. We crave for things to go our way according to our meticulously crafted plans, meeting our precise expectations. And when life, in its infinite unpredictability, doesn't meet those expectations, when our cravings aren't satisfied, when our rigid ideas are shattered, we suffer. We feel disappointed, frustrated, angry, or deeply sad. But here's something many of us never stop to truly consider. Something that sits at the very heart of Buddhist psychology. The suffering doesn't actually come from the situation itself. The external event might be difficult, painful, or inconvenient, yes, but the suffering, that deep, gnawing sense of unease, that emotional anguish, it comes from our attachment to how it should be, from our resistance to what is. In Buddhism, this powerful, insidious force is called tanhā, often translated as craving, clinging, or thirst. It is more than just a simple desire. It's a compulsive, insatiable longing that fuels our existence in a cycle of dissatisfaction. It is profoundly significant because it is identified as one of the three poisons, the fundamental, deep-rooted forces of greed, or craving, hatred, or aversion, and delusion, or ignorance, that keep us trapped in continuous cycles of suffering and rebirth. Let's be clear on a crucial distinction. We suffer not because we desire. Desire in itself is a natural part of human existence, driving us to learn, to grow, to connect. We desire food when hungry, warmth when cold, connection when lonely. These are natural desires. We suffer because we cling, we grasp, we become fixated on obtaining or maintaining things, people, or experiences, believing our happiness depends entirely on them. We cling to the past, desperately trying to relive moments that are already gone, idealizing them, or wallowing in past mistakes. We cling to the future, hoping to control something that hasn't even arrived, creating elaborate plans and then agonizing over their potential failure. We even cling to abstract ideas of who we think we are, to our ego, our identity, our reputation, our self-image, becoming devastated when these constructs are challenged. But life, by its very nature, is not meant to be gripped tightly. It is inherently fluid. It flows, it changes, it moves, constantly, dynamically, just like a mighty river. And when we try to dam that river up, when we try to hold it captive within our rigid expectations, we inevitably create immense resistance. And resistance, over time, turns into friction, into tension, into pain, and ultimately, into suffering. So, let me ask you this, right now, in this moment. What are you holding on to, right now, that's actively hurting you? Take a moment. Is it a past grievance you can't forgive? Is it a relationship that has run its course but you refuse to let go? Maybe it's the need to always be in control, to dictate every outcome, large or small. Perhaps it's the deeply ingrained belief that you have to prove your worth over and over again to yourself or to others. Take a breath, a deep, conscious breath, and just notice. Notice how much energy it takes to keep holding on to that thing, to keep grasping, to keep craving something that is just out of reach, or perhaps was never meant to be held forever. Now, imagine, just for a precious moment, what it would truly feel like to let that go. Not in despair, as if you're giving up in defeat. Not in resignation, as if you've been beaten, but in profound trust, in liberating freedom. The Buddha, in one of his most profound teachings, clearly stated, "Attachment is the root of all suffering." This isn't a call to detachment from life itself. It doesn't mean we shouldn't love deeply, passionately. It doesn't mean we shouldn't dream big dreams or care about justice, about our families, about our world. What it means, unequivocally, is that our fundamental peace, our deepest sense of well-being, should not depend on whether or not we get what we want, or on things staying exactly as they are. Because the ultimate, undeniable truth is this: everything we cling to is impermanent. Everything changes. Everything passes. Every person, every possession, every moment, every feeling, every thought. Even this precise moment right now, as you hear these words, is already gone, already fading into the past. And the more we desperately try to hold on, the more we actually miss what's genuinely right in front of us, the beauty and impermanence of the present. So, if attachment is the root of suffering, what if the true path to peace, to genuine contentment, is not about gaining more, accumulating more, or achieving more, but about learning how to gracefully, skillfully, and wisely let go? Letting go does not mean giving up. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. This is perhaps one of the most widespread and damaging misconceptions about Buddhist wisdom. Many people hear the word detachment and they immediately conjure images of coldness, of emotional distance, of spiritual bypassing, of turning your back on the world and all its rich experiences, its joys and sorrows. They imagine a monastic existence devoid of passion, human connection, or purpose. But that, I assure you, is fundamentally not what Buddhist detachment is about. True detachment, in the context of awakening, is not about shutting down your heart or building walls around your emotions. Quite the contrary. It's about opening your heart so fully, so expansively, so unconditionally that you no longer need to control, possess, or manipulate anything or anyone to feel a profound and unshakable sense of peace. Think about it this way. You can love deeply with every fiber of your being without needing to own the person you love, without suffocating them with your expectations, without needing them to fulfill your every need. You can give fully, generously, compassionately, without expecting anything, absolutely anything in return, without keeping a mental ledger of favors. You can care passionately about causes, about people, about your work, without clinging to a specific outcome, without your entire well-being hinging on the success or failure of those efforts. Detachment, in its authentic Buddhist form, is absolutely not apathy. Apathy is numbness, a disconnection from emotion, from empathy, from the vibrant tapestry of life itself. It is a withdrawal, a deadening of the spirit. But detachment, as taught by the Buddha, is a supreme form of wisdom and a profound act of love. It's love without chains. It's compassion without demand. It's presence without the need for possession. It's truly being with what is, without the burden of what should be. The Buddha didn't teach us to walk away from life, to escape its realities, or to become unresponsive to its beauty and pain. Instead, he taught us how to walk through life with open eyes and an open heart, without being constantly shaken, tossed about, or consumed by its impermanent nature. He taught us how to engage fully, yet remain free. Let's take a simple yet profound example to illustrate this. Imagine you're holding a precious, delicate bird in your hands. If you grip it too tightly with fear that it might fly away, you will undoubtedly harm it, crush its fragile bones, or suffocate it. Your very desire to keep it will destroy it. If you open your hands completely and carelessly, without any awareness, it may indeed fly away, and you might feel a pang of loss. But if you hold it gently, with open palms, with profound awareness and tender care, you can truly enjoy its vibrant presence, appreciate its beauty, hear its song, knowing fully that it is free to come and go, that it was never truly yours to possess. That, in essence, is what Buddhist detachment means. It's the capacity to engage fully, to love boundlessly, and to offer your best self while simultaneously being able to say, from a place of deep inner peace, I will love you and support you and be present for you in every way I can, but I don't need to own your path or your choices. Your freedom is as important as my own. Or, in the context of your work or goals, I will give my absolute best effort. I will apply myself fully, wholeheartedly, but I will not tie my entire worth, my entire sense of self, to the outcome, to the specific result. I will find peace in the effort, not just the achievement. This is precisely where genuine, lasting peace begins. It's not just in relationships either, it's in how we approach success, money, aging, health, and even our own spiritual practice. When we cling to enlightenment as a goal, a destination to be reached, a trophy to be won, we often suffer immensely in our striving. But when we let go of needing to arrive, when we release the pressure of becoming enlightened, we paradoxically begin to awaken right here, right now, in the midst of our ordinary lives. There's a famous Zen teaching that perfectly encapsulates this. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. The external actions, the circumstances of life, don't necessarily change. But what radically shifts is how we relate to them, how we experience them, and our internal state as we perform them. We become free from the mental burdens of wanting them to be different. So ask yourself, truly, where in your life have you, perhaps unknowingly, confused profound, liberating detachment with cold, unfeeling not caring? What would it truly look like? What would it feel like to care fully, deeply, passionately, but without fear or obsessive need or the suffocating desire for control? The profound beauty of Buddhist detachment lies in this. It allows you to be fully in the world, to participate in its richness, to experience its joys and sorrows with an open heart, without being consumed by it, without being overwhelmed by its ever-changing nature. It allows you to feel deeply, to give freely, to connect authentically, and still to remain profoundly free inside, unbound by the chains of attachment. Let me tell you a story that echoes through countless lives, perhaps even your own. It's a story about a woman named Claire, who had for years meticulously built her entire life on the bedrock of relentless effort. She was the quintessential perfectionist, highly successful in her career, incredibly driven and always in control. She had secured a prestigious job, cultivated a network of impressive friends, lived in a beautiful, meticulously decorated apartment, and maintained an impeccable reputation for being reliable, competent, and always having everything handled. But beneath that polished, controlled surface, she was utterly exhausted, constantly on the brink of burnout. You see, Claire had spent years, an entire lifetime almost, trying to hold everything together. Not just her own life, but often the lives of those around her. She felt an immense self-imposed pressure. She needed people to see her as strong, as infallible, as the one who never faltered. She desperately needed to succeed in every endeavor, to prove her worth over and over again, to achieve more, to be more. And she needed everything and everyone to go precisely according to her meticulously crafted plans, to fit neatly into her highly ordered world. But life, as it always does, had other far grander and far more unpredictable ideas. One year, with a swift and brutal efficiency, everything Claire had clung to began to unravel. Her long-term relationship, which she had carefully nurtured, abruptly ended, leaving her reeling. Her seemingly secure company underwent a massive restructuring, and she found herself unexpectedly downsized, her professional identity shattered. And amidst this external chaos, her physical health, already strained by years of chronic stress, began to deteriorate, signaling a profound internal imbalance. Suddenly, tragically, all the external structures she had so desperately clung to all the sources of her perceived stability, were gone. Her immediate, deeply ingrained reaction was to try and fix it all. She doubled down on effort, believing that more control was the answer. She devoured self-help books, formulated new, more rigid plans, pushed herself harder in every area of her life, despite her dwindling energy. She tried to force the pieces back together, to rebuild the fortress of her control. But the more she tried to control the rising tide of chaos, the worse it seemed to get. The more she struggled, the deeper she sank. One night, sitting utterly alone in her impeccably neat apartment, surrounded by the remnants of her shattered expectations, she finally broke down. She wasn't just crying, she was sobbing from a place of profound exhaustion and despair. She heard herself say aloud to the silent room, the words raw and ragged. "I've done everything right. I've followed all the rules. I've tried my hardest. Why is nothing working? Why is my life falling apart?" So ask yourself, truly, where in your life have you, perhaps unknowingly, confused profound, liberating detachment with cold, unfeeling not caring? What would it truly look like? What would it feel like to care, fully, deeply, passionately, but without fear or obsessive need or the suffocating desire for control? The profound beauty of Buddhist detachment lies in this. It allows you to be fully in the world, to participate in its richness, to experience its joys and sorrows with an open heart, without being consumed by it, without being overwhelmed by its ever-changing nature. It allows you to feel deeply, to give freely, to connect authentically, and still to remain profoundly free inside, unbound by the chains of attachment. In Buddhism, this radical acceptance is called acceptance of what is. It's not resignation, not apathetic giving up, but a profound act of liberation. Because the truth is, suffering doesn't always end when life changes. Sometimes external circumstances remain challenging, but it often softens, it often dissolves, it often transforms when we change, when we shift our internal relationship to those circumstances. So, gently ask yourself, what are you still fighting with? What battle are you still waging against reality? What are you still holding on to, long after it has clearly asked, perhaps even begged to be released? And what might truly, miraculously shift if you finally, bravely, let it go? Let's take a breath together, right now, in this moment. A deep, conscious breath. Inhale gently, feeling your lungs expand. And exhale, slowly, completely, letting go of any tension. Wherever you are right now, allow yourself to pause, to simply be here, to feel your body, your breath, the space around you. This, my friends, is the essence of mindfulness, the art of being fully present with what is, in this very moment, without judgment, without trying to fix it, without trying to escape it or make it anything other than what it is. And I cannot emphasize enough that it is one of the most powerful, most accessible, and most transformative tools we have on the path to cultivating non-attachment. Why? Because how can we possibly let go of something if we don't even realize we're holding on in the first place? How can we release a burden if we're unaware of its weight? The harsh truth is, most of us live our lives on autopilot. We wake up already thinking about what needs to be done, the endless to-do list for the day, the worries from yesterday, the anxieties about tomorrow. We move from task to task, from notification to notification, from moment to fleeting moment, never really arriving fully in any of them. Our minds are constantly racing, planning, judging, regretting, or anticipating. We are mentally somewhere else, even when our body is physically present. But when we commit to the practice of mindfulness, even for just a few minutes each day, we begin to see clearly, truly see, often for the first time. We start to notice the subtle tension in our shoulders when things don't go our way. We notice the tightness in our chest when fear arises. We notice the endless stories we tell ourselves about how life should be, how people should act. We notice our own grasping, our desperate need for control, for certainty, for comfort, for things to be different. And in that precise moment of awareness, that mindful observation, we create space, precious space, space to breathe, space to simply observe our thoughts and feelings without being swept away by them, space to choose differently, to respond consciously rather than react impulsively, and most importantly, space to let go. Non-attachment, when truly understood through the lens of mindfulness, doesn't mean pushing life away, becoming disengaged, or losing your passion. Quite the opposite. It means embracing life as it is, in all its messy, glorious, imperfect, ever-changing reality, without needing it to be something else, without desperately trying to mold it to your preferences. It's an embrace of reality, not a rejection of it. Imagine again a simple, everyday act, drinking a cup of tea. But this time, imagine drinking it mindfully. Not scrolling your phone while you sip, not worrying about a meeting tomorrow, not planning your dinner. Just drinking the tea, fully present, feeling its warmth against your fingers, noticing the wisps of steam rising, tasting the bitterness and the subtle sweetness on your tongue, noticing the aroma. And then, when the cup is empty, letting it go. Not clinging to the last drop, not lamenting that it's finished, but simply acknowledging its completion and moving on. This is mindfulness, and this is non-attachment in action. You fully show up for this moment, you immerse yourself in it, you experience it completely, and then you allow it to pass, knowing that a new moment will arise. The Buddha taught relentlessly about the truth of impermanence, anicca. Every thought, every feeling, every sensation, every success, every failure, every relationship, every breath. Nothing stays. Everything is in a constant state of flux, arising and passing away. And when we fight this fundamental truth, when we desperately try to make things permanent that are by nature impermanent, we suffer. But when we accept it, when we lean into this ever-changing reality, we begin to relax into life, into reality itself. We stop gripping so tightly to fleeting moments of joy, knowing they will pass. We stop dreading moments of sorrow, knowing they too will transform. We stop needing every moment to be perfect, to be stable, to be exactly as we wish. And in that softening, that deep acceptance of impermanence, we find a profound and unshakable peace. So, how do we begin to cultivate this? You don't need to pack your bags and move to a temple. You don't need hours of silent meditation, though that is a wonderful practice. You simply need to return to the present moment, again and again, with gentle awareness. When you're washing dishes, just wash dishes. Feel the warm water, see the soap suds, hear the clinking of plates. When you're listening to a loved one, truly listen. Put down your phone, look into their eyes, hear their words without formulating your reply. When you're grieving, allow yourself to feel the wave of sadness without clinging to what was, or fearing what's next, or judging your own emotions. Every single moment of your day is an invitation to wake up, to breathe, to release, to live, not from a place of desperate attachment, but from a profound place of open awareness and acceptance. So far, we've thoroughly explored what it means to let go, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We've delved into the profound philosophy behind it. But the crucial question remains, how do we actually do it? In the messy, often chaotic, beautiful, and demanding reality of our daily lives. How do we let go Not just in theory, not just during a meditation session, but while we're stuck in frustrating traffic, waiting impatiently in a long line, dealing with a difficult conversation, navigating deep emotional hurt, or facing profound uncertainty about our future. Letting go is not a magical one-time act where you simply declare yourself let go and all your burdens disappear. It is a lifelong practice. It is a series of small, intentional decisions made over and over again, every single day, every single moment. It requires patience, persistence, and a great deal of self-compassion. Here are a few gentle yet powerful practical ways to begin integrating the wisdom of letting go into your everyday life. 1. Notice when you're holding on. This is always the foundational first step, developing awareness. Become a curious observer of your own internal landscape. Pay attention to what tenses your body. Do your shoulders hunch when you're stressed? Do your jaws clench when you're angry? Notice what thoughts, worries, or narratives repeat endlessly in your mind, like a broken record. Pay attention to the specific places where you feel intense resistance, whether it's a nagging memory you can't shake, a pervasive fear about the future, or even a deeply cherished goal you're gripping too tightly, fearing failure. Just noticing this tension, this mental loop, this resistance, without judgment, is already the powerful beginning of letting go. Awareness creates the space for change. 2. Pause before reacting. So much of our self-imposed suffering, and the suffering we cause to others, comes from automatic, unconscious reactions. Someone says something that rubs you the wrong way, you instantly snap back with anger. You feel a surge of fear or anxiety. You immediately shut down, withdraw, or catastrophize. But here's the key. Between any stimulus and your response, there is always a tiny yet infinitely powerful space. And in that sacred space lies your freedom to choose. The next time something triggers you, something makes your blood boil or your heart race, try this. Take a conscious breath. Feel your feet firmly on the ground, grounding yourself in the present moment. And then, choose to respond with awareness, with intention, rather than from a place of ingrained habit or raw emotion. That moment of pause, even if it's just a second, is profoundly transformative. It breaks the chain of automatic suffering. 3. Use simple mantras to remind your heart. Words have energy, and simple phrases can be powerful anchors for your mind when it feels turbulent. Here are a few simple phrases you can whisper to yourself or repeat silently in your mind when you feel tight, afraid, caught in overthinking, or overwhelmed. Let it be. A simple yet potent acceptance of the present moment. I release what I cannot control. A direct affirmation of surrender. This too will pass. A timeless reminder of impermanence, offering comfort in difficult times. I trust the timing of my life. An invitation to surrender to the unfolding process, releasing the need to rush. Repeat these gently, allowing them to settle like calming water into your heart and mind. They're not magical spells, but gentle nudges back to a place of peace. 4. Declutter your physical space and your mind. The external often reflects the internal, and vice versa. Letting go can begin with the tangible act of physical decluttering. Take a few minutes to clean out a messy drawer in your kitchen or office. Go through your wardrobe and let go of clothes you no longer wear or that no longer serve you. Delete old, unused files from your computer or phone that are just taking up mental space. As you perform these physical acts of clearing, ask yourself, What else am I holding on to that I don't truly need, either physically or mentally? You will be surprised at how powerfully physical clearing can lead to profound mental clarity and a feeling of lightness. It's a tangible way to practice non-attachment. 5. Practice gratitude, especially for what didn't go your way. This might seem counterintuitive, but it's incredibly powerful. Sometimes the very thing we desperately didn't want to happen, a job loss, a relationship ending, a setback, becomes the unexpected path that saves us, leading us to something far better, or teaching us invaluable lessons. Instead of clinging to the painful narrative of what should have been, shift your perspective by asking, what is this difficult experience teaching me? What hidden strength is this challenging moment calling out of me? When we shift from resentment and regret to a posture of reverence and learning, letting go becomes a profound gift, not a painful loss. It allows you to transform adversity into wisdom. 6. Let nature teach you. The natural world is a profound, ever-present teacher of letting go. Observe how trees gracefully release their leaves each autumn without fear or struggle, knowing that new life will emerge in spring. Watch how mighty rivers flow continuously without holding back, adapting to every obstacle, always finding their way to the sea. Observe how the sun sets each day without resistance, trusting that it will rise again. Everything in nature, from the smallest blade of grass to the grandest mountain, demonstrates the universal principle of letting go. And nothing is ever truly lost, only transformed, recycled, reborn. You too are an integral part of that boundless wisdom, part of that natural cycle. Spend time in nature and allow its effortless flow to permeate your being. 7. Forgive. Not to excuse, but to free yourself. This is perhaps one of the most challenging yet ultimately most liberating forms of letting go. Holding on to pain, resentment, anger, or grudges, whether towards others or towards yourself, doesn't protect you. It only binds you, ties you with invisible chains to the very thing that hurt you, keeping you stuck in the past. Forgiveness isn't about condoning harmful actions or forgetting the pain. It's about making a conscious, powerful choice to say, I choose peace over poison. I release this burden not because they necessarily deserve it, but because I deserve to be free. Forgiveness is a profound act of self-love and radical self-liberation. 8. Letting go is certainly not easy. It takes courage. It takes immense patience. It takes consistent practice. And perhaps most importantly, it takes profound self-compassion, especially on the days when you slip, when you find yourself clinging again. But the more you practice these small daily acts of letting go, the more space you'll begin to feel within yourself. More breath, more presence, more profound peace. And that peace is not found in achieving external perfection. It's found in the soft, daily courage to open your hands, to release your grip, and trust that what's truly meant to stay will stay, and what's meant to pass will gracefully pass. Remember this, letting go is not losing. It's learning how to be free. So, after all this discussion, what truly happens when you truly, deeply begin to let go? What profound shifts occur within your being and in your experience of life when you stop resisting reality, stop clinging to what's already gone, and courageously open your hands and your heart to the vast, beautiful unknown? The most incredible truth is this: you don't lose yourself. You find yourself. The real self, the authentic self, the one that exists beneath all the layers of masks you've worn, all the roles you've played, all the should-have-beens and could-haves that burden your mind. You uncover the inherent wisdom and peace that was always there, waiting. When you truly begin to let go, something incredible, something almost magical, begins to profoundly unfold in every aspect of your life. First, you begin to breathe differently. The chronic tension that lived in your shoulders, your jaw, your gut starts to dissolve. Your breath deepens, slows, becoming a natural anchor in the present moment. You walk slower, more deliberately, feeling the earth beneath your feet. You listen more intently, truly hearing others, truly hearing the subtle whispers of your own inner wisdom. You're no longer at war with the moment, desperately trying to change it or escape it. You become an active participant in its unfolding. Second, you begin to feel a profound lightness. The emotional weight that you've carried, perhaps for years, the burden of past regrets and future anxieties, starts to lift. You realize, with startling clarity, that inner peace was never something to be earned, a prize to be won after relentless struggle. It was always there, underneath all the noise, all the striving, all the mental clutter. Like the boundless blue sky, always present, always clear, behind the ever-changing clouds of thought and emotion. Third, you begin to see beauty in the small, everyday things again. The simple way sunlight filters through your window and touches your morning tea, painting patterns on the wall. The effortless, joyful sound of wind rustling through the trees outside. The genuine, fleeting smile of a stranger passing by. These tiny, overlooked moments, once overshadowed by your internal struggles, now shimmer with a newfound vibrancy and significance. And somehow, paradoxically, you feel more alive, more connected to the pulse of existence than ever before. This is because your heart is no longer weighed down by the heavy chains of the past, or constantly pulled forward by the anxious fears of the future. It is simply here, now, awake. Fourth, letting go doesn't erase your pain, but it profoundly transforms it. The raw, agonizing sting of old wounds no longer defines you. They soften into quiet wisdom, becoming lessons learned. The sharp edges of regret gradually smooth out, turning into gentle reminders of growth and change. The ache of loss makes space for an expansive sense of gratitude for what was, for the lessons learned, for the love experienced. And the desperate need for control dissolves, not into chaos, but into a deep, unwavering trust in the intelligence of life itself. Fifth, you begin to trust life again. You start to trust that things will unfold as they need to, even if it's not exactly as you planned. And crucially, you begin to trust yourself again, your resilience, your inner wisdom, your capacity to navigate whatever arises. Not because everything is perfect or because you suddenly have all the answers, but because you're no longer demanding it to be, no longer needing external circumstances to validate your worth. Sixth, you begin to flow. Like water, you become clear, quiet, and strong, adaptable to any container, any obstacle. Like trees, you become deeply rooted, yet always willing to gracefully release what is no longer needed, knowing new growth is coming. Like the breath, you become a rhythm of rising and falling, constantly returning to the present moment, to life's natural ebb and flow. And perhaps the most beautiful, most compassionate transformation of all is this: you become a safe place. First, for yourself, a sanctuary of acceptance, free from harsh self-judgment and constant striving. And then, organically, effortlessly, you become a safe place for others, a calm presence, an empathetic listener, a source of peace, allowing them to be fully themselves without your need to fix or control them. You become a conduit for life to move through you with ease, rather than a dam resisting its flow. Because when you let go of all the gripping and grasping, you stop pushing life away, you stop resisting its inherent nature, and instead, with open arms and an open heart, you truly welcome it. With all its beautiful mess, all its profound mystery, all its breathtaking, fleeting beauty. So ask yourself gently, kindly, without judgment, what would it truly feel like to live without gripping, without constantly chasing, without the pervasive shadow of fear? Who might you become if you genuinely trusted that nothing real, nothing truly essential to your being can ever be lost? What incredible, liberated version of you is waiting on the other side of simply letting go? Sometimes we don't need to find more, to accumulate more, to achieve more. We simply need to release what was never truly ours to carry in the first place. Letting go is not the end of anything meaningful. It is in fact the profound beginning of everything real, everything authentic, everything truly free. If you've made it this far, if you've stayed with me through these deep explorations, I invite you now to take one final, profound breath with me. Inhale gently, deeply, feeling your whole being expand. And exhale, slowly, completely, letting everything settle, letting go of any last lingering thoughts or tensions. Just be still. No need to chase the next idea, the next task, the next goal. No need to fix anything, to reach for something, or to force a particular outcome. Just be still. This sacred stillness is precisely where your true power lives, not in controlling the external world, not in getting everything perfectly right, not in mastering every circumstance, but in your profound ability to be present with what is, to be present with your breath, to be present with your feelings, to be present with the silence. Stillness is not laziness, it's not apathy, it's not giving up on life or your aspirations. It's an active, conscious choice to come home to yourself, to your inner sanctuary, to the quiet wisdom that resides within you. When you allow yourself to be still, truly still, you begin to hear the quiet truths that the constant noise of the world often drowns out. You hear the truth that you are inherently enough, just as you are, without needing to prove anything further. You hear the truth that not everything needs to be figured out, that sometimes the answers emerge from stillness itself. You finally hear the most liberating truth of all, that peace does not come after the struggle ends. Peace comes when you stop struggling with what is. When you are still, you stop fighting yourself. You stop running from your own emotions, whether they are difficult or joyful. You allow joy to rise without grasping, without trying to hold on to it permanently. You allow sadness to move through you without resistance, trusting its transient nature. Stillness is not the absence of life. On the contrary, it is the profound foundation of life, the fertile ground from which all creation, all wisdom, all true peace emerges. In the quiet depths of stillness, you rediscover the radical freedom that was always yours. The freedom to feel without drowning in emotion, the freedom to love without clinging, the freedom to exist fully, authentically, without constantly needing to prove your worth to anyone, including yourself. Freedom isn't found in some distant future. It's not hidden in the accumulation of success, wealth, or accolades. It's right here, in this breath, in this body, in this beautiful, perfectly imperfect moment. You're not here to fix the entire world. You are here to witness it, to learn from it, to meet it fully with an open heart and mind. And then, with graceful acceptance, to let it go as it changes. The Buddha never promised that life would be easy or devoid of challenges. He clearly stated that suffering is an inherent part of the human experience. But he also, with immense compassion, showed us that there is a clear, liberating path to peace amidst that suffering. And that path, that profound journey, begins when we stop resisting what is and courageously, patiently, start living with profound awareness, boundless compassion, and ultimately, a liberating release. So today, right now, give yourself permission to rest, to stop pushing so hard, to stop proving your worth, to stop pretending that you need more than what you already are, a complete, valuable, and inherently peaceful being. Be still, be free, and remember, that is enough. Thank you for spending this profound time with me. If this video touched your heart, if it resonated with a truth inside you, I invite you to share your thoughts, your insights, your feelings in the comments section below. Tell me, after hearing this, what are you truly ready to let go of? And if you'd like more videos like this, filled with gentle wisdom, peaceful stories, and timeless Buddhist teachings that can illuminate your path, please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss our next profound conversation. Your presence here matters, your journey matters, and wherever you are on that journey, may you walk in profound peace. Until next time, be still, be free.